You're listening to a podcast from the Institute for Work-Based Learning at Middlesex University. Coming up.
With the help of Middlesex University and the coaches they provide, our people have been gentled along, they've gotten back into the disciplines of learning. It's been an absolute revelation for the individuals.
We take a closer look at some of the organisations that use work-based learning. What do organisations, do individuals get out of it? And in tough economic times, can organisations afford it?
Hello, David Williams. I'm the Director of Business and Organisational Development for the Institute for Work-Based Learning.
I am Alex Mortimer, Manager of Business and Organisational Development at Middlesex University.
Hi, I'm James Fothergill, Head of Education and Skills Policy at the CBI.
Hi, I'm Mags Thomas, Head of HR for a division of Toshiba TEC.
I'm Brian Thomas, Director of the Marine Society.
And I'm Chris Jameson. This is a podcast from the Institute for Work-Based Learning at Middlesex University. So, David, in this bit of promotional literature I've got on work-based learning, the definition is as follows: a practical mode of study that brings university-level learning into the workplace. Let's flesh out that definition a bit.
Yeah, that's quite right. University work-based learning is all about making an impact for the organisation. It adds value to the performance at work of the employee, but also to the bottom line of the organisation. So there's a real impact there that we do through an approach that tailors the needs of the organisation to the learning the university can offer. This may be through a project approach or through accreditation, but it's building and sharing those professional experiences.
Alex?
Yeah, just adding on to what David was saying, it's basically a way of enhancing performance and at the same time enabling people to get qualified and sharing best practice.
OK. Mags Thomas, you're Senior HR Manager at Toshiba TEC. And why does it work for you?
For us, we were looking for something that truly and clearly added value both to the individual but to the business performance overall. The proposition they had on offer allowed us to give a huge chance to people that perhaps hadn't come through traditional educational channels to acquire a university accredited degree or diploma whilst actually delivering to the business. Learning happens all the time, every single day. And we felt that we very much wanted to find a way of helping our people to identify that they actually were learning within the workplace and using practical pieces of work to build that confidence and competence in reflecting and learning from what are actually day-to-day delivery of what the business needs.
It certainly sounds like the key to work-based learning is tailoring it to fit specific individuals, specific organisations. And Alex, as the account manager from Middlesex University working with Mags, I guess that's where your relationship with her and with the organisation is really key.
With Mags, it's quite a unique programme. We, as a university, we always start with where the company's at, and I think that was really crucial. When I first met Mags, it was all about listening to her needs and listening to where she's at and where she has ambitions to make the organisation grow. She's got a passion to help their staff enhance performance. So we basically tailored a programme, a unique programme, to enhance different groups of people working, to enhance communication practice and to enhance, just basically build that belief that they are doing good work.
I think that's hugely important what Alex has touched on there. For me, in business, we are always driven by building effective partnerships with our providers, with who we supply, our customers. And that was the particular thing with University Work-Based Learning from Middlesex, was the fact that they were interested in the business outcomes first and then working with us to give us a proposition that was practical, cost-effective, as well as giving something that really has turned out to be hugely engaging for the workforce that have currently gone through it and for those that are going through it.
I think in addition to all of that, it's the response times and the ability to actually start these programmes when the employer wants them, so we're not bound by academic years. Work-based learning actually recognises that the employer provides high-level learning in the workplace every day, so it's embracing that learning and expertise that's already in the organisation.
I suppose what it relies on, though, is a certain element of desire on the part of the learner, in the sense that if they are learning remotely, there isn't the supervision. There needs to be an element that actually they want to do it as well as the organisation wanting them to do it.
Our experience has shown that our initial group, it was an act of faith on their part. They genuinely believed that they couldn't acquire academic qualifications because their own traditional schooling had indicated that they weren't of that type. And I think that's what's been so hugely successful is with the help of Middlesex University and the coaches they provide, our people have been gentled along, they've gotten back into the disciplines of learning, and it's been an absolute revelation for the individuals. And as a consequence, they are now, of course, the PR people for the next groups coming through. That if I, as a photocopier technician, if you like, of 20 years, now hold a university accredited diploma, oh boy, is that pushing people forward. So very helpful.
Gentled along is a nice way of describing it, I think. Alex?
The journey's been fantastic. It's great to see that there's real evidence of the learning being applied to work, and that's really crucial in doing these kinds of initiatives. But it's also been great to see how Toshiba have used this to align the staff aspirations with that of their organisation. You know, you can really see a difference in their staff now.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. We'll hear from another organisation, the Marine Society, in a moment. Now, though, let's bring in James Fothergill from the CBI as we take more of a kind of overview of work-based learning. And James, do you think work-based learning is for every organisation?
I think from an industry perspective, there are a lot of employers already involved in partnerships with universities, running university-based learning schemes. While it might not be for every employer, I think there are some good partnerships out there. And really it's driven by factors such as we're in these tough economic times, and for a business, improving productivity and performance is key. And it's vital for them to secure the higher level skills that they need in the workforce to achieve that productivity.
So you're saying that in a time of austerity, recession, etc., work-based learning works because people don't have to leave the office in order to study?
Absolutely. And coupled with the demand that is growing, with businesses needing ever more higher skills within the workplace, they absolutely need that flexibility to be able to deliver training and development, their training and development needs of the future in the workplace.
It might be a good time to talk to Brian Thomas from the Marine Society. The Marine Society has supported the education and welfare of seafarers and land-based maritime professionals for 250 years. And Brian, I imagine people are learning in unconventional places and unconventional ways. Give us some examples of the way work-based learning is happening at sea.
When we talk about seafarers, we mean everybody who makes their living from the sea. There are 1.2 million seafarers in the world today. In the UK, there are some 250,000 maritime professionals. So it's a very wide, disparate organisation, and seafaring is perhaps the ultimate global industry. They're working in conditions of perpetual motion, constant noise and relentless vibration. They don't have access to the internet, as do their shoreside counterparts, and they don't obviously have access to the range of resources and books that the rest of us take for granted. So it's important that the means of learning is what we call seafarer friendly, that it is not internet dependent. And the great plus of what work-based learning for seafarers is that it accredits the huge experience that seafarers have. Seafarers can be captain of a container ship in their late 20s or early 30s, being responsible for a multi-million pounds cargo. They're responsible for all the HR issues on board that ship. Huge responsibility, and they have many, many qualifications, vocational qualifications, huge skill sets, and yet they don't have the academic currency that opens doors either in higher education or to employment pathways when they come ashore. The work-based learning route offered through Middlesex University goes some way to remedying that situation.
One of the biggest advantages, and I'm sure that's true for Brian's organisation, is the rigour with which they are coached about the academic side. I found that really helped our people lift the net curtain on a wider world. So it's also about building their capacity to keep their learning going.
Indeed. The support and the encouragement that work-based learning provides, and it is important to put that word support in. It is supported distance learning, hugely important. Many of seafarers that that have gone through this route have actually used it as a stepping stone to going on to higher programs, either within education or indeed professional qualifications subsequently.
OK, to all of you, you're in a lift with someone considering work-based learning for their organisation. They're getting off at the next floor, so you've only got 20 seconds or so to sell this as a concept. You all come at this from different perspectives. So I think it'll be really interesting to hear what you would all say if you were in that lift. Let's start with you, Alex Mortimer.
Thanks, Chris. And the first few things I would say is just look at outputs. What do you want out of your team? How would you enhance team performance? What kind of would you like to enhance communication? Would you like to build confidence? Well, work-based learning does all of that, and you get a qualification at the same time.
Brian Thomas.
Work-based learning offers the most convenient and the most cost-effective means for you working in the maritime industry to gain the academic currency that you so richly deserve.
Mags Thomas.
Can't do it in 20 seconds, but it's pretty close. It's very easy to show your business the value that it's brought to your business and to the individuals in it.
James Fothergill.
For those companies that are involved in university work-based learning partnerships, they say they would recommend it to other employers. So I think there's something in there.
And David Williams.
Talk to Middlesex University because we'll embrace the good work and expertise that's already happening in the organisation. And actually, all of this that we can do is quite good fun at the end of the day as well.
Thanks to all my guests. For more information on work-based learning at Middlesex University, ring 020 8411 5050 or online at www.mdx.ac.uk/beyond training. Listen out for other podcasts in this series on YouTube. Search for University IWBL channel.